client and Mr. Leon, can I get your signature on that signature pad located in front of you? You won't be able to see it, but I will.
Hello.
Okay, make sure you keep your mic on mute. Okay, now, Mr. Howard, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment, also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of the same document, there's a set of initials on the line next to a box that says check guilty. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document, There, the next page of the same document, there's a signature above the line that's titled Defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
And the next document is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. Mr. Howard, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature above the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
There are two boxes that's checked at the top of this document. The first box check states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Let me see the discovery certification again. Okay, Mr. Howard, I also have before me a document that's titled Discovery Certification. Is this do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Is this your signature above the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Howard, prior to signing and initialing these documents that I've just mentioned, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any
No-
objection?
No objections to State's 1.
No objection. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Paget, you advising counsel, Mr. Howard, is there any evidence that he's currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
Still none, Your Honor.
Mr. Howard, the attorney, Mr. Paget has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Howard, I'll accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I'll also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
Your Honor, the agreement is for 90 days in jail probated over a term of 1 year. A $500 fine, 24 hours community service, DWI classes, and drug and alcohol assessment.
Okay. Okay, so DWI class, drug and alcohol, okay. Now, you're gonna have to take this out. Yeah, he said DWI classes and drug and alcohol assessment. He didn't say no.
No, that's on me. I made another
Okay.
mistake. Okay, I made that mistake.
Okay,
It does need to be taken out. and That's my error.
okay,
Elizabeth asked me. I told her that.
okay.
Wanted to double check.
I apologize.
So yeah, that's what I heard. That's,
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay.
We're gonna make it through this.
okay. Mr. Howard, the state is offering that you serve 90 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail because you'll be on probation for 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $500 plus court costs. And the court cost is $422. The total fine and court cost is $922. You also be required to perform, you also be required to pay $60 each month probation fee, $50 each month your analysis fee. You also be required to pay Jefferson County DWI education class and initiate evaluation fee of $125 on the day of the plea. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Now, the total amount that you would have to pay each month in monthly installments is $160 a month. Will you be able to pay the $160 each month?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, Mr. Howard, you'll also be required to perform 24 hours of community service, attend and complete a DWI class, and have a drug and alcohol assessment. And you also be required to adhere to the other standard terms and condition of this probation. Mr. Howard, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Howard, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Howard, would you please stand on the X in front of your, in front of our clerk? And once you finish here, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Okay. We can go ahead and get here.
Mr. Howard, can I go ahead and get your right thumbprint on that blue light located in front of you? Thank you. Go ahead and remove your thumb. All right, now, Mr. Howard, I need your signature on that signature pad located in front of you.
Right on the gold line.
Trade spots.
And then Mr. Patrick.
Yes.
Thank you. And now, Mr. Howard, raise your right hand for me. Do you swear that you've never before been given deferred adjudication or regular probation for a felony or misdemeanor in this or any other state? Okay, and you have no other pending charges that you're aware of? All right, so you're just gonna report to this address as soon as you leave here, and they'll go over everything with you.
Okay, the next case is cause numbers 326760 and cause number 326762. Both cases are style of state of Texas versus Andre Paul Lede. We have Mr. Andre Paul Lede, who is appearing via Zoom. And Mr. Lede is pro se, that simply means that he is representing himself. Mr. Lede, how are you doing?
How you doing, Mr. Yon?
Okay, now, Mr. Lede, your case is on the announcement docket, and there's a note here that you were in a treatment facility.
Yes,
Are
sir.
you still in the treatment facility?
Yes, I actually admitted myself. I graduated like in September, and I still stay on the premises, what they call a transition house. And actually, I've been out the program. Well, actually, still in the program. I've been here like almost a year and a half, actually. But I graduated in September, though.
Okay, now, the program that you're in now, when does that end?
It's the same program. It's just what they call a transition house. It's like how would you call it? A boarding house. Is like a spinoff from the Texas house. You just don't have as many rules, but you get UA like every 2 weeks. It's kind of like the same program. You just don't get like punishments or sanctions for like your mess ups in the program. But you have like you actually go out and work a full-time job. It's like just transition to be like live like a successful life, basically.
Now, is this, are you located in Jefferson County?
No, sir, Houston. It's the Texas
Okay.
house. It's a 1-year program. It's actually a therapeutic community, but it's just like say Pete, but just don't have bars around you. You know what I mean? So
Right.
yes, sir.
Okay, do you have a scheduled release date?
No, I actually got released like in September. So
No, I'm talking about where you are now. You're in another program. You're in a safe house.
no, it's like it's you actually released already. It's just they give you the option of coming to this. It's like it's like they right next door to each other. It's something they just built, but it's the same program, but you don't have like an actual graduation date from here. You stay here on your own free will. I actually graduated from a therapeutic community in September, though, September 29th.
Okay, so well, I guess what I was getting ready to say is that you have these 2 cases pending. You're gonna have to come here in person to get these cases taken care of. It won't be, we can't take care of your cases while you are, on Zoom,
All right.
okay?
Yes, sir.
So what we're gonna do the next time, we're gonna give you a reset, and the next court date, you're gonna have to make you have to make a personal appearance.
All right, I'm gonna have to figure out a way to get there. Because my mom can't make long drives. So I'll figure out a way to get that on.
Okay, but we'll give you enough time. We'll reset your case for 60 days. Okay.
All right. Can you do it like next month? I mean, is there any way to do it next month? I can make it there next month.
You just want 30 days? That's fine.
That's fine. I can make it there in 30 days.
Okay, give us a reset date. Okay, it's gonna be reset to March 30th, you say? Okay, it's gonna be reset to March 30th of 2022. Mr. Lede, make sure you make note of that. Your bondsman will be given a copy of your reset date, and you need to appear here in person.
All right, same time, Your Honor?
Yes, 9 o'clock.
Yes, sir. All right.
All right. This will
Yes, sir.
conclude your case.
And Your Honor, let me make sure Mr. Leday has my contact information.
Oh,
All right. What is it, Mr. Blake?
Yeah, so it's Blake Ham, Hamm,
Mm-hmm.
and you can reach me by calling the 409-835-560. That's my
repeat that
office
again.
number,
Hold on.
Thank
What
you.
is 835
8560.
8560? All right.
The front desk, DA's office, the front desk can reach me as well, and their last four are 8550.
Yes, sir. I got you, Mr. Ham.
Okay.
You want me to give
All
you a
right.
call also, Mr. Ham? Like anytime soon, or how you want to do that?
Yes, you can give me a call this afternoon, that'd be great. We'll try to get it figured out here.
Yes, sir. I'll give you a call, Mr. Ham.
All right.
All right,
Okay,
so
Mr.
thank
Leday, this will conclude your case, Mr. Leday. Continue your treatment program. The court is proud of you for taking the initiative to more or less do something about the problem that you have. You took the first step. You know, first step is first admitting that you have a problem. You did that. And then you went further than that by actually getting into a program to address the problem. And so the court would like to commend you on that and just keep up the good work. And this case is reset to March 30 to 2022. You have a blessed day.
You also, Mr. Your Honor. You have a good one, Mr. Holmes.
All right, you're free to go.
You too, Mr. Ham.
Next case is cause number 330944. Case is filed State of Texas versus Larry Broxton Sr.
Your Honor, we're still trying to print out the PCF.
Okay.
Printer problem. Try again.
Mr. Broxton, you come forward. This is cause number 330944. The case is filed the State of Texas versus Larry Broxton Sr. Mr. Broxton, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Broxton, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Broxton, do you swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
Broxton, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Broxton?
Very well, Judge.
That's good. Mr. Broxton, you're here with your attorney, Joel Vasquez. Attorney Vasquez, how are you doing?
Good, Your Honor. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine. Okay. Mr. Broxton,
Yes, sir.
I have before me a document that is titled information. The information alleges that on or about October 13 of 2021, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of terroristic threat, family violence. Mr. Broxton, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Broxton, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest, Your Honor.
Now, are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
I am.
Are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Broxton, I have before me another document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. On this document, Mr. Broxton, on page 1, it is also labeled as State's Exhibit number 1. Mr. Broxton, do you recognize this document? Yes, you could step over here. You recognize this document? Yes, sir. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, on page 2 of this document, there's a set of initials, LBS. Are these your initials?
Yes. All right.
And on the next page of the same document, there's a signature above the line that's titled Defendant.
Yes,
Is that your signature?
yes, sir.
And on the next document, which is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Is this your signature above the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
There are 2 boxes that are checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Broxton, I also have before me a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Broxton, prior to signing and initialing these documents that I've just mentioned to you, did your attorney, Mr. Vasquez, go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything that Mr. Vasquez went over?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibits number 1 and 2. State, you like to offer States 1 and 2?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections?
No objection.
No objections. State's Exhibits 1 and 2 are admitted. Mr. Vasquez, you advised and counseled Mr. Broxton. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Broxton, your attorney, Mr. Vasquez, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Broxton, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State,
Yes,
do
Your
we have a plea bargain agreement?
Honor. We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
Your Honor, the agreement is for 200 days in jail probated over a term of 18 months, a $200 fine, 60 hours of community service, and required anger management classes.
Okay, Mr. Broxton. The state is offering that you serve 200 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail because you'll be placed on probation for 18 months. During the 18-month probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $200 plus court costs of $307, which comes to a total of $507. You'll also be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month, a urinalysis fee of $15 each month. You will also be required to reimburse the county for the court-appointed attorney's fees of $250. Let me see if we have an affidavit of injuries. Now, Mr. Broxton,
Yes, sir.
your total monthly installments that you'll be required to pay, that is the total amount that you have to pay each month, is $120. Will you be able to pay the $120 each month?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You will also be required to perform 60 hours of community service, pay a fine of $100 to a family violence center in Jefferson County, attend anger management classes as a condition of probation, and you'll be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of this probation. Mr. Broxton, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes,
And do you accept the state's offer?
yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Broxton, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Broxton. Okay, why don't you hand this to your client? Mr. Broxton, your attorney is handing you a document that is titled Model Written Admonishment or Admonition on Ineligibility to Possess a Firearm or Ammunition. And I'll go over this document with you. In accordance with the Texas Administrative Code, Section 176.1, the court hereby admonishes you of the following. Number one, you are by entry or order or judgment ineligible under Texas law to possess a firearm or ammunition. Number two, beginning now, if you possess a firearm or ammunition, it could lead to charges against you. If you have questions about how long you will be ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition, you should consult an attorney. Number three, under Texas Penal Code Section 46.013, a firearm is any device designed, made, or adapted to expel a projectile through a barrel by using the energy generated by an explosion of burning substance or any device readily convertible to that use. B, firearm does not include a firearm that may have as an integral part a folding knife, blade, or other characteristics of weapons made illegal by Penal Code Chapter 46, and that is one, an antique or curio firearm manufactured before 1899, or two, a replica of an antique or curio firearm manufactured before 1899, but only if the replica does not use rimfire or centerfire ammunition. The statutes listed below are a starting point for ineligibility to possess a firearm or ammunition. For more information about the laws that make you ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition, or for more information on how long your ineligibility to possess a firearm or ammunition lasts, the court recommends you contact an attorney. Code of Criminal Procedure Article 17.292, Magistrate's Orders for Emergency Protection. Code of Criminal Procedure Article 17, Code of Criminal Procedure Article 42.0131, notice for persons convicted of misdemeanors involving family violence. Penal Code Section 46.02, unlawful carrying weapons. Penal Code Section 46.04, unlawful possession of firearm. Penal Code Section 25.07, violation of certain court orders or conditions of bond in a family violence, child abuse or neglect, sexual assault or abuse, indecent assault, stalking, or trafficking case. Family Code Section 85.026, warning on protective orders. Mr. Broxton, the ammunition that's been handed out to you is for your records. Please stand on the X next to your attorney and follow the directions of our clerk. Once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. And Mr. Vasquez, once you sign the pad, you'll be free to go as well and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Your Honor. You as well. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Um,
Could you get that?
Thank
Okay, get that dismissal that's off the
Thank you, Your
printer. This is cause number 325-524, case of style of state of Texas versus Guy Maurice Johnson. Mr. Johnson? That should be a dismissal. Yeah, you can keep one and give one to the lawyer, to his attorney. Mr. Johnson, the state has dismissed your case. Your attorney have just received your dismissal. You're free to go. You have a blessed day. And Mr. Walker, you're free to go as well, and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, sir. You too.
All right,
Thank you, Judge.
you are.
She'll be right out.
He already got the dismissal. Oh, that's, yeah, that he could get out to Melanie.
E5?
No, that goes to Melanie.
Okay.
She knows what to do with it. Michael McLeod? Yeah, Mr. Bailiff, would you please get Michael McLeod?
He's present outside the courtroom.
This is cause number 330-834, case of style of state of Texas versus Michael Kerry McLeod. Mr. McLeod, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. McLeod?
Doing great.
That's good. Mr. McLeod, you're here represented by your attorney, Tom Kelly. Attorney Kelly, how you doing?
Just fine, Judge. Thank you.
Mr. Kelly, what is your announcement for Mr. McLeod?
Judge, would you set us on the court's next announcement docket to give me some time to speak with Mr. Ham? I think we can get to a resolution here.
Okay, we're gonna reset you for
Just need to
announcement.
finish a little discovery as well.
Okay. Okay, Mr. McLeod, your attorney is gonna be, your case is gonna be reset on the next announcement docket. Stay in contact with your attorney and your bondsman. Once your attorney gets your reset, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Mr., you can go get with the coordinator to get your reset.
Yes, Judge. I have one more case under docket.
Oh, you do? Let's see.
She should be right now.
Melissa Almeida, she's on Zoom.
What are you talking about?
See something I hadn't seen.
Okay.
She's on.
This is cause number 325-626, case of style of state of Texas versus Melissa Lynn Almeida. Miss Almeida, you could take your mic off the mute. Miss Almeida, how are you doing,
Can you
Miss
hear me?
Almeida? Yes, we can hear you. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, Your Honor. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Miss Almeida, you're here represented by your attorney, Mr. Tom Kelly. Mr. Kelly, what is your announcement for Miss Almeida's case?
Judge, the case that's in your court has been refiled. It landed in Judge Burnett's court, in his justice court. We just need to pay a fine, which is. gonna be
JP
done-
reduction?
Yes, it'll be done in the next few days, and then I'll contact Mr. Ham to make sure that the dismissal on this case is handled.
Okay, so what, 1 week reset or a month?
Maybe a month, Judge, and then it'll be
Okay.
taken care of before then.
Okay, Ms. Almeida, your case is gonna be reset for 1 month. Stay in contact with your attorney and your bondsman. You'll be free to go. You have a blessed day, and thanks for being patient with us.
Thank you, no problem.
Okay,
Thank you, Your Honor.
you got Almeida and McLeod that you gotta get resets on.
Yes, Judge. Thank you.
Okay.
That's fine.
Would you get Michael Resendez? And if Lee Smith is out there, get Lee Smith as well.
Matt Scott Moore. Right down the hall for a hearing.
Okay, that's fine.
He's on Zoom.
Do you need, we can do Scott Moore right now.
I was just reset it. We don't want to do.
Okay. Just, okay, we're gonna do Scott Moore. Mr., let's see. Moore.
He's there.
Moore, okay.
Yeah, the beard. Looks like-
This is, cause number 321-380, case of style of state of Texas versus Scott Moore. We have Mr. Moore appearing via Zoom. Mr. Moore, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Your Honor. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, Mr. Moore. I'm doing fine, Mr. Moore. Mr. Moore, you're here with your attorney, Mr. Wright Kimler. Mr. Kimler, how are you doing?
Well, Your Honor, thanks.
Okay, Mr. Kimler, what's your announcement in Mr. Moore's case?
Ready?
Okay, so you want to reset it for trial?
Yes, sir.
Okay, give us, okay, you can get your trial date from our coordinator. Mr. Moore, your case is going to be reset for trial. Stay in contact with your attorney and your bondsman. You're free to go, and you have a blessed day.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. You have a blessed day as well, Mr. Kimler.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Michael Resendez. This is cause number 329306, case of style of state of Texas versus Michael Anthony Resendez. Mr. Resendez, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Resendez, how are you doing? I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, Mr. Resendez. You're here represented by your attorney, Mr. Charles McIntosh, who is appearing via Zoom. Mr. McIntosh, how are you doing?
Doing well, Your Honor. Thank you.
That's good. Mr. McIntosh, what's your announcement in Mr. Resendez's case?
Yes, Judge, would ask for one more announcement docket. This case has a bit of a unique fact pattern, and I need to get with the government a little bit more on this case.
Okay, I reset to 3:30.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this case is reset to March 30 to 2022. Mr. Resendez, you can stand on the far X.
I have a question, because I called the number on the paper and it doesn't go through, and I need his number.
Okay, Mr. McIntosh, Mr. Resendez stated that he's called the number on the paper, but it's not going through. Do you have another number you'd like to give him?
Yeah, it's 832-0373.
0373?
73. 409-832-0373.
Okay, that's fine. And once you get your reset, you'll be free to go. You have a blessed day, Mr. Resendez. Next case. Yes. Is Lee M. Smith. This is cause number 330610, State of Texas versus Lee M. Smith or Lee Michael Smith. Mr. Smith, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Smith?
I'm doing all right.
That's good. Mr. Smith, you're here represented by your attorney, Mr. Charles McIntosh, who is appearing via Zoom. Mr. McIntosh, what is your announcement in Mr. Smith's case?
Your Honor, this case is much newer, and I need to get with the government for an offer on this case. So if I could just get that same 3:30 would work for an announcement
Okay.
docket.
Mr. Smith, your case is going to be reset till March 30 to 2022. Give you opportunity for your attorney to get with the prosecutor on your case. You're going to stand on the 4X in front of our coordinator. She'll give you a reset. Once you get your reset, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day. Next
And-
case, yes.
Judge, I'm also Dustin Galmore today.
Oh, you're appearing for Dustin. Let's see. He
Yes,
has
Judge.
Ashland Ortiz.
Yes, Judge.
We have Ashland Ortiz, who is
Yes,
appearing
sir.
via Zoom in cause number 331058. Ms. Ortiz, how are you doing?
I'm good, and you?
I'm doing fine. Now, Ms. Ortiz, you represented, your attorney of record is Dustin Galmore, but Mr. Galmore is not here. However, standing in for Mr. Galmore, Mr. Charles McIntosh. Does Mr. McIntosh have your permission to stand in for Mr. Galmore?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. McIntosh, what is your announcement in Ms. Ortiz's case?
Yes, Judge, you need a little bit more time to get the videos.
Okay, give us we're gonna keep it on that same date. That's March 30th of 2022. Ms. Ortiz, stay in contact with your attorney and your bondsman. They will be given a notice of your reset date. Thanks for being patient with us. You're free to go, and you have a blessed day.
Thank you. You too.
And Mr. McIntosh, will this conclude your cases?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, Mr. McIntosh, you're free to go as well, and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Our next case is cause number 330606. The case is styled the state of Texas versus Daniel Para. Mr. Bailiff, would you please get Daniel Para?
Mr. Parr is going to require a translator, although he does speak English.
Yeah, we need to, could we, tell him the bailiff, the bailiff has to go get our court translator. That's all right. We're in session in cause number 330606. Case is styled the state of Texas versus Daniel Para. We have Mr. Daniel Para, who's present in court. The court has been informed that Mr. Para, he speaks Spanish and some English.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's correct. And so we have our translator here, is Jennifer Raji. Mr. Raji, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Raji, do you swear to interpret Spanish to English and English to Spanish, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
You may put your hand down. Let's see. Ask him if his name is Daniel Para.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Para, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Para, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes.
Okay, you may put your hand down. Okay, Mr. Para, how are you doing?
Very good.
That's good. Okay, Mr. Para, you're represented here by your attorney, Mr. Walter Windler. Mr. Windler, how are you doing? Mr. Para, I have before me an information that alleges that on or about June 20th of 2021,
Okay. Dice que tiene una comisión del 20 de junio de 2021
that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated with an alcohol concentration level of 0.15 or more.
de una autoridad que está pasando how much
0.15 or more.
de 1% de 0.51 o más.
Mr. Para, the state is abandoning the enhancement paragraph
El Estado está quitando el subido que le hace el paso.
which means that you will be charged with a Class B misdemeanor offense instead of a Class A misdemeanor offense. And do you understand what you have been charged with?
Yes.
And to discharge the Class B misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
¿Eres culpable, no culpable o no contest? No contest.
Okay. Mr. Para, are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
¿Usted está haciendo un contest usted solo? Yes.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Y estás haciendo una contest que no quiere que los Yes.
Mr. Para, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, I wrote on this document that the state is abandoning the enhancement paragraph.
Se escribió pues que está enhancement de la casa.
Okay, on page 2 of the same document, there are a set of initials on a line next to a box that's checked nolo contingere, which means no contest. Did you place your initials on this document?
¿Usted pusiste sus iniciales en una contest?
Yes.
Yes.
And on the next document, which is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, well, excuse me, on the same document, on page 3, there's a signature above the line that's titled Defendant. Is this your signature?
¿Ese es su firma ahí arriba?
Yes.
Now, on the next document that is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, do you recognize this document?
Sí, lo puede reconocer.
Is this your signature above the line that's titled Defendant?
Ese es su firma.
Yes.
There are 2 boxes that are checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal.
En la primera caja dice que no puedes aplicar esas. ¿Entiendes?
The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal.
Y la segunda caja dice que no. Dice
And do you understand that?
que si entiendes.
Mr. Para, I have another document here that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
Si te acuerdas de tu documento que te mandaste. Yes.
And is this your signature above the line that is titled Defendant?
Que esa es su firma que está ahí.
Sí.
Yes.
Mr. Power, before you sign and initial these documents that I've just mentioned, did your attorney, Mr. Windler, go over these documents with you in Spanish and in English?
Antes de firmarlos, les documentos a su abogado y le explicó todo lo que está ahí.
Sí, él explicó y un traductor lo explicó también.
Okay, he said yes.
And did you understand everything that he went over?
Es que sí.
Sí, sí, sí.
Yes.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Y todo lo que está en los documentos son de verdad. Yes.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1, misdemeanor plea admonishment, and State's Exhibit number 2, the probable cause affidavit. State, you like to offer States 1 and 2?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections?
No objections.
No objections. States 1 and 2 are admitted. Mr. Power, are you a U.S. citizen?
Sí.
Yes.
Mr. Windler, you have advised and counseled Mr. Power. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Power, your attorney, Mr. Windler, has advised and counseled you.
Su abogado se revisó y de todo su caso.
Are you satisfied with his representation?
Y todo está justo con él.
Sí.
Yes.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Y todo su trabajo de
Mr. Power, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your pleas and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State,
Yes, Your Honor.
do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Do Your Honor.
What is that agreement?
Your Honor, the agreement is for 90 days in jail probated over a term of 1 year, a $500 fine, 50 hours for community service, DWI classes, and drug and alcohol assessments.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, the judgment. Okay, thank you. Mr. Power, the state is offering that you serve, excuse me, that you serve 90 days in the Jefferson County Jail, but you will not have to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail. Because you'll be placed on probation for 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $500 plus court costs of $422.
$500.
The fine is $500 and the court cost is $422. The total fine and court cost is $922. You'll also be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month. A urinalysis fee of $15 each month. You'll be required to pay Jefferson County DWI education class an initial evaluation fee of $125. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. You'll be required to perform 50 hours of community service. Attend and complete a DWI education class. Have a drug and alcohol assessment. You will be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of this probation. And as stated earlier, the state is waiving the enhancement paragraph. Do you understand the state's offer? Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Creo que es justo.
Yes.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Sí, that's.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Power, I will follow the plea bargain agreement that you've entered into with the court. Stand on the next X next to your attorney and follow the directions of our clerk. Once you finish following in those directions, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.
Thank you.
And Mr. Wendler, once you finish signing, you'll be free to go as well. No, you have one more, that's right. Oh, we still need you around with it. He has another client.
Mr.
Gracias.
Parr,
Thank you.
can I get your right thumbprint on that blue?
Go
light
get,
that you have in front of you?
Castaneda,
Thank you.
Laura,
You can remove yourself.
Renee Castaneda, Laura.
Now, Mr. Parr, can I get
Yeah.
your signature on the signature pad located in front of you? Thank you. But I will. Are we doing Castaneda right now?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't, the DA hasn't signed it.
Oh, Mr.
Okay,
Ham,
so
you need to
can I
sign
get-
the tablet.
Did I not?
He can take a seat.
Huh?
Now,
The court is in session in cause number 331-422. Case is styled as State of Texas versus Renee Castaneda Laris. The court has been informed that Mr. Castaneda Laris speaks Spanish, does not speak English, or he speaks a little English. And therefore, we have our interpreter here who has previously been sworn in, Ms. Jennifer Araji. Mr. Lara, Mr. Laris. Mr. Laris, please raise your right hand. Mr. Laris, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes, okay. You may put your hand down. Okay. How are you doing, Mr. Laris? Good, okay. Mr. Laris, I have before me an information that alleges that on or about June 29th of 2021, you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of obstructing highway passageway. Do you understand what you've been charged with?
No, dice que se entiende el caso que corre. Yes.
And to this charge, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? Now, are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges? Is he pleading no contest because he just does not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, I have before me another document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment, State's Exhibit Number 1. Do you recognize this document?
¿Se le puede hacer el documento?
You're telling me he has to speak up.
Yes, that's what I've told him 3 times.
Mr. Laris, are these your initials on the line next to a box that says check, no contender, which means no contest?
Esas son sus iniciales de no contest? Yes.
And on page 3 of the same document, there's a signature above the line that's titled Defendant. Is this your signature?
¿Esa es su firma ahí arriba? Yes.
Also on this same document, on page 1, are these your initials next to the paragraph that's titled Citizenship?
Esas son sus iniciales en lado de la ciudad? Yes.
And this paragraph reads as follows. If you're not a U.S. citizen,
Que usted no era, si usted no era una ciudadana,
or plead guilty or no contendere,
una carta de culpable o no contest,
may result in your deportation,
que dado que se puede deportarte,
exclusion from admission to the country,
que no puede entrar al país,
or denial of naturalization under federal law.
o que no lo pueden dar como citizen.
And did your attorney go over this paragraph with you?
Que si su abogado explicó todo eso con usted. Yes.
And did you understand what he went over?
Y usted entendió su abogado. Yes.
Now, do you still want to go forward with your plea?
Y todavía usted quiere hacer Mr. Carter? Yes.
And Mr. Windler, I think it's pursuant to Padilla versus Kentucky. Did you admonish your client about the possibilities of, because he's not a U.S. citizen, the possibility of being deported, denied naturalization under federal law and exclusion from admission?
Yes, Judge.
And all the other, I guess,
Consequences?
yeah, all the other consequences that's related
Yes,
to this conviction.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, now, okay, I have another document here that's titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. Mr. Lyris, do you recognize this document?
Yes.
Is this your signature above the line that's titled Defendant?
¿Ese es su firma que está ahí?
Yes.
Yes.
There are two boxes that's checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
La primera caja, lo que está dice que usted no se puede apelar hasta que siempre.
Yes.
And the second box states that you're waiving your right to appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Que en su misma caja dice
I also have a document here that's titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document? And is this your signature above the line that's titled Defendant?
que si ese es su firma que está ahí.
Yes.
I have another document here that's titled For All Foreign Nationals Except Those from Mandatory Notification Countries. Mr. Laris, do you recognize this document?
¿Me acuerdas de ese documento?
Yes.
And is this your signature on this document?
Que si ese es su firma.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Laris, prior to signing and initialing all of these documents, did your attorney go over these documents with you in Spanish and English?
Yes.
And did you understand everything that's contained in these documents?
Yes.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
State, I have before me States Exhibit number 1 and 2. State, you like to offer States Exhibits number 1 and 2?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections?
No objection.
No objections. States Exhibits 1 and 2 are admitted. Mr. Windler, you've advised and counsel Mr. Laris. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No evidence, Judge.
Mr. Laris, your attorney, Mr. Windler has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation? Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation? Mr. Laris, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will, go ahead. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
Your Honor, the agreement on this case, 331422, is for 1 year deferred probation, 24 hours of community service, and DWI classes. And in addition, the state has agreed to dismiss case number 330598.
Mr. Larry, the state is offering that you serve 1 year deferred probation. During this 1 year of deferred adjudicated probation, you will not be required to pay a fine. However, you will be required to pay court costs of $342. You will also be required to pay probation fee of $60 each month. A urinalysis fee of $15 each month. Your total monthly installments, that is the total amount that you would have to pay each month, is $110. Would you be able to pay the $110? And you'll be required to perform 24 hours of community service. 24 hours of community service. And you will be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of this probation. And the state will be dismissing clause number 330598. Do you understand the state's offer? You have to speak up.
Yes.
And do you think that the state's offer is fair and just?
Yes.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes.
Okay, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you've entered into with the state. Please stand on the X next to your attorney and follow the directions of our clerk. And once you've finished following her directions, you're free to go and you have a blessed day. And Mr. Windler, this will conclude your case. Once you sign the paperwork, you'll be free to go as well. You have a blessed day. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Araji.
Lift it back up and place it.
Great job as usual.
Jennifer, how do you spell your last name?
A-L.
There it goes.
A-L?
Thank you.
R-A-J-I. Okay, thanks.
Okay, now, Mr.
Yes, weird.
Castaneda.
Araji, is it Al Raji? Al Raji.
Court is in session and calls number 330-746. Case is styled the state of Texas versus Doc Ingo.
More. Just more. With the keys on. Go this time.
Is Go?
Yes.
Okay. How you doing, Mr. Go?
Okay.
That's good, Mr. Go. You're here represented by your attorney, Mr. Langston Adams, who is appearing via Zoom. Mr. Adams?
Hey, Judge, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. Mr. Adams, what is your announcement in Mr. Gold's case?
In Mr. Gold's case, I need to watch his video with him of his stop. And if you give me one more announcement, I'll be ready to go by then.
Okay. This case is going to be reset to March 30th of 2022. Mr. Adams, your reset will be sent to you. This will conclude your case. You'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day. And Mr. Gold, have a seat in that chair with that black and yellow tape. And once our coordinator is ready for you to come to the window, go to the window, and your case will be reset.
All right,
Okay.
Take it easy, Judge. Thank you.
All right, you have a blessed day.
You too.
Your attorney is in another court, and so your case is going to be reset, okay?
Yes, sir. She
Um,
said she was gonna reset it anyway, because the video they said, she couldn't watch it.
Okay, just have a seat in that chair with that black and yellow tape. Now, this is cause number 330970. Mr. Kevin D. Gross, your case will be reset. The court is in session and calls number 329526.
Nope, no, okay. I was mistaken. He hasn't signed it yet, but I'll let
Oh.
him know now.
Okay, the court is in session and calls number 329526. Case is styled of the state of Texas versus Bryson Tyler Adams. We have, our announcement docket. Bryson Adams was scheduled to be in court at 9 a.m. on the day's date. Let me do this here. 20. Okay. The day's date is February 2nd of 2022. Mel, I see that he has an attorney named Matt Alford. Bryson Adams at the bottom of this docket on page 1, second from the bottom. Okay. Now, court is back in session, cause number 329-526, case of style, State of Texas versus Bryson Tyler Adams. Bryson Adams was scheduled to be in court this morning at 9 a.m. for the court's announcement docket, which was scheduled at 9 a.m. At or about 9 a.m., Bryson Adams' name was called by the court's bailiff at the courthouse door. Bryson Adams did not answer. Bryson Adams has not appeared in court. Since the court has been in session, his attorney, Mr. Matt Alford, has not appeared in court either. The time now is 11:10 a.m. on today's date of February 2nd of 2022. Mr. Bailiff, would you please call the name of Bryson Adams? Bryson Adams' name was just called again by the court's bailiff at the courthouse door. Bryson Adams did not answer. A reasonable time has passed to give Mr. Adams an opportunity to appear in court. He has not appeared in court. State, do we have a motion?
Your Honor, the state moves for bond forfeiture.
That motion will be granted. Bryson Adams' bond will be forfeited and a warrant shall be issued for his arrest in cause number 329-526. And this will conclude the calling of the court's announcement docket, which was scheduled for today of February 2nd, 2022 at 9 a.m. in County Court at Law Number 2 of Jefferson County, Texas. Judge Terrence L. Holmes presiding. Everyone, please have a blessed day.
You too. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Mr. Ham.